closing, just in relation to Deputy Andrews on the Glass Bottle site, the figures are 25% social affordable, 10% Part 5 and 15% additional affordable social. I'll have to come back in relation to the Oversight Committee. Deputy O'Callaghan raised points around this rough sleeper count. Again, I'll have to revert back on those. Again, to the points raised by Deputy Murphy criticising the Labour Party, I mean, the Labour Party, like the Greens, are always willing to step into government and do what's needed. And you know, if an opportunity for a left-led government emerges, will people before profit step up when they're needed? Again, I'll say that. And again, to the criticism that has come forward from the Labour Party, they've always stepped up and been willing to participate in government and get. There's enough hurlers on the ditch around here. And just in terms of management capacity, Deputy Canny raised that in relation to local authorities and maintaining housing stock, hugely significant and important. And we have and are addressing issues around Bord Penála, and Deputy Pringle and Deputy Wynne raised points around travel accommodation. I agree wholeheartedly. Local authorities have to provide and should meet their requirements and targets around traveller-specific accommodation. We do know that the housing crisis is having a real impact on people's lives and the nation as a whole. We understand the urgency and the need to ensure that people have a safe, secure and affordable home. No one underestimates the scale of the challenge, and indeed the motion before the House today highlights some of those challenges. We are not opposing the motion. We believe that in respect of the issues raised in the motion, work is already underway. Minister Donovan has already set out some of the ongoing measures in his opening statement, but I would want to acknowledge some more of the significant progress this government has made since the publication of Housing for All in September 2021. Supply, which is critical to addressing the challenges facing the housing system, has increased significantly. Last year we delivered 32,695 new homes, the highest number in this country, and well over a decade. That momentum is continuing. Construction commenced on nearly 33,000 homes in 2023, and in January of this year alone, close to 3,004 homes commenced. This increase of 59% on January 2023 shows that we're continuing in the right direction. It's the highest number of units commenced in the month of January since records began in 2015. Annual house price inflation, as measured by the CSO Residential Property Index, also moderated significantly in 2023, falling from 15.1% in March 2022 to 4.4% in December 2023, with the price of new houses also moderating. I know that affordability, a challenge for many of those looking to buy or rent in our cities and towns, can face difficulties. However, it is evident that Housing for All is having a real impact for those who wish to buy a home. Nearly 26,000 first-time buyers drew down mortgages in 2023, the highest level since 2007. Many of these were supported by schemes such as First Home and Help to Buy. The responsibility of housing policies lies at the national rather than the EU level, however, where opportunities arise to cooperate and foster best policy across member states are taken up. Indeed, Minister O'Brien was at the European Conference of Housing Ministers in Liège this week, where solutions to improve access to affordable, decent housing for all within the EU were being progressed. Increasing the supply of affordable housing is central to Housing for All, with an objective to deliver 36,000 new affordable and 18,000 cost rental homes in the period 2022 to 2030. A very ambitious programme of affordable housing is now in place and has already seen significant delivery. Over 2,100 affordable homes housing supports were delivered at the end of Q3 2023 via approved housing bodies, local authorities, the LDA and through the First Home scheme. This momentum will continue as a pipeline of affordable housing delivery is developed and expanded. 2022 saw the highest annual output of social homes in decades and the highest level of new build social homes in over half a century. Over 10,200 social homes were delivered by local authorities and AHBs through build, acquisition or leasing. The significant increase in new build social homes is a testament to how Housing for All is having a positive effect on thousands of the most vulnerable in this country. Social housing delivery figures for 2023 are being confirmed and they will be published in the coming weeks. I am confident that they will exceed last year's figures. The increase in supply of housing is critical to tackling homelessness. This government is prioritising measures which focus on accelerating social and affordable housing supply through a combination of new build, targeted acquisitions and leasing. Preliminary data for 2023 shows that more than 1,000 acquisitions were completed in the first 9 months of 2023, with more than 500 properties acquired under the tenant in situ scheme. For 2024, Government has again approved an increase in social housing acquisitions to 1,500 and will keep these targets under review. Further measures introduced to increase and accelerate the supply of social homes, including an additional 1,000 homes through targeted leasing initiatives in 2024, the amendment of the Capital Advanced Leasing Facility, CAF, used by AHBs to assist them in their efforts in delivering social homes. Government also introduced the cost rental tenant in situ scheme in April last year for tenants in private rental homes who are not eligible for social housing supports but who are at risk of homelessness. It continues to be available for eligible tenants who are at risk of homelessness if their landlord intends to sell the property. I would encourage anyone who finds themselves in the situation to contact their local authority and to make an appointment to see their local housing officer. The Q4 2023 Homeless Progress Report thankfully shows strong progress in terms of preventions from homelessness, with more than twice the number of individuals being prevented from entering homelessness compared to the same period in 2022. This shows that measures such as tenant in situ scheme are beginning to have a positive effect. A total of 6,848 adult preventions and exits were achieved over the course of 2023. This represents a 25% increase on the 5,478 adult preventions and exits achieved in 2022. It is still very much an issue of great concern to government. That is why there is such a great focus on preventions and exits, as well as significant investment and effort in accelerating and increasing supply. Labour's motion calls for increased funding for local authorities to tackle vacancy and dereliction through compulsory purchases of empty buildings. Tackling vacancy is already a key priority of this government. Many areas are facing a blight of vacant properties, which, if brought back to use, could support the regeneration or revitalisation of communities. Indeed, heritage-led regeneration of our village, towns and cities will also enhance the viability of local services, shops and pubs. Continued implementation of Housing for All objectives and the actions to address vacancy and dereliction represents the most appropriate response in dealing with those issues and ensuring that our towns, cities and villages once again become vibrant places where people want to live, work and to socialise. Significant progress is being made. The Vacant Homes Action Plan, launched in January 23, outlines the progress along with the actions being pursued to return vacant properties back into use as homes. As part of the plan, a new CPO activation programme was launched in April 23, and this provides for the proactive, systematic approach by local authorities to identifying vacant and derelict properties and engaging with owners to bring those properties back into use. This includes the active use of existing compulsory purchase powers by local authorities where needed. Supporting the programme is a €150 million fund being made available under the Urban Regeneration and Development Fund for local authorities to acquire long-term vacant or derelict properties for reuse. The Creeconehead Towns Fund is successful in supporting the refurbishment of vacant and derelict properties through the Vacant Property Refurbishment Grant and provision of service sites for people to build their own homes through the Ready to Build scheme. Feedback on the grant is very positive. By the end of December 23, actually have figures up to date at March 5th, over 6,825 applications have been received and more than 3,886 grants have been approved as payment. That's as of yesterday being made as work is completed. In fact, due to the success of the grant, the target for homes to be delivered under the fund is being increased from 2,000 to 4,000 by 2025. While varying levels of vacancies are indicated in the different data sources, the overall trend is consistently downwards and vacancy levels are reducing. The most efficient home to deliver is one that already exists, and working together I really do believe that there are thousands of vacant and derelict houses nationwide that could be transformed into homes with all the benefits it will bring to communities and the sustainable reuse of these wonderful properties. We have achieved much since Housing for All was published, but we know there's still a long road ahead for us all. We will continue to do everything in our power to increase affordability, improving the rental market, eradicate homelessness, address vacancy and fix the housing system for generations to come. I thank the Labour Party for bringing the motion forward today. I think it's a progressive one. And again, we look forward to working with all parties in this House to try and deliver on the targets of Housing for All.